is usage of plane mirror, concave mirror, and convex mirror. A plane mirror is a mirror that has a flat or plane reflective surface. A concave mirror has a reflecting surface that is curved inwards. And a virtual and a magnified image is formed when you place an object very close to the concave mirror. And lastly, convex mirror. The reflective surface in convex mirror is on the bulge or outer side, and it is used as the side view or rear view mirror of a vehicle, as it gives the driver a wider view of the road. In the next slide, you can see examples of plane mirror, concave mirror, and convex mirror. The plane mirror makes a living room look spacious. The concave mirror is also used by a dentist to see the patient's teeth because the image forms look bigger and closer. And the convex mirror is also used by shopkeepers to prevent theft from happening. Next is optical instruments that apply the concept of reflection of light. The first instrument is Periscope, which is an instrument used in submarines to observe the sea surface. And it works by using the concept of reflection of light. Light from the sea surface is hit through the top mirror and is reflected, and then the light is reflected again, the second mirror, right into the eye of the observer. Next is the kaleidoscope. The kaleidoscope is a toy made using plane mirrors. With this toy, you can create various amazing patterns like the picture shown in the slide. These patterns are obtained due to the repeated reflection of the image of the objects inside the kaleidoscope. Next, subtopic 8.2 is properties of light, also known as sifat cahaya. Light rays can travel in straight lines through a vacuum. Natural phenomena that are related to the characteristics of light include the formation of shadows and rainbows. And finally, subtopic 8.3, which is the reflection of light, also known as Ulangkaji. So here are the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror. Firstly, it is upright. It is also inverted, same size as the object, virtual image, and it shows of the same distance as the object distance. Law of reflection, also known as Kumpulan. When a beam of light is directed onto a piece of plane mirror at a certain angle, which is the angle of incidence I, the light ray will be reflected to a certain angle, which is known as angle of reflection R. So as you can see in the image, light reflected obeys the law of reflection, which is the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal line all lie on the same plane. The angle of incidence, I, is also equal to the angle of reflection, which is R. Next, application of reflection of light. The use of signboards which have light reflectors so that they are easily seen at night. The use of emergency triangles that reflect light by cars that break down on the roads. And lastly, workers wear safety jackets which have light reflective strips in construction sites. That is all from me. I will pass this on to the next presenter.
Seterusnya, pembiasan cahaya. Subtopik 4 dalam topik 8 ini. Pembiasan cahaya bermaksud pembengkokan cahaya apabila cahaya bergerak dari satu medium duduk sinar ke medium duduk sinar yang berlainan ketempatan. Sebagai contoh, dasar kolam kelihatan cetek dan pensel kelihatan bengkok di dalam segelas air. Ini kerana air dan udara mempunyai ketempatan yang berbeza. Cahaya membengkok ke arah garisan normal apabila bergerak dari medium yang kurang tumpat ke medium yang lebih tumpat. Manakala cahaya membengkok menjauhi garisan normal apabila bergerak dari medium lebih tumpat ke medium kurang tumpat. Namun, pembiasan cahaya tidak akan berlaku sekiranya cahaya bergerak di sepanjang garisan normal. Seterusnya, penyebaran cahaya. Penyebaran cahaya bermaksud pemisahan cahaya putih kepada komponen-komponennya, iaitu cahaya merah, jingga, kuning, hijau, biru, indigo dan ungu. Penyebaran cahaya berlaku apabila cahaya putih bergerak melalui satu medium ke medium yang lebih tumpat. Kelajuan cahaya berbeza mengikut warna cahaya, bermula daripada merah yang bergerak paling laju dan dibiaskan paling sedikit kepada ungu yang bergerak paling perlahan dan dibiaskan paling banyak. Di sini kami ada sediakan beberapa video tentang pembiasan cahaya, tapi tak boleh buka. So, pergi pada topik 6 pula. Minta maaf atas segala kesulitan.
Topik 8.6. Subtopik 8.6, penerakan cahaya. Penerakan cahaya berlaku apabila sinar cahaya dihalang dan dipantulkan ke semua arah oleh awan atau zarah-zarah dalam udara. Contoh fenomena sinar jadi disebabkan penerakan cahaya ada dua: langit biru pada waktu tengah hari dan juga langit berwarna merah pada waktu senja. Langit biru pada waktu tengah hari. Sinar cahaya matahari lebih dekat dengan bumi yang membawa jarak gelombang cahaya pendek yang berwarna biru dan menyebabkan gelombang berlanggar dengan molekul-molekul di udara dan membuatkan cahaya biru paling banyak diserap ke semua arah. Langit berwarna merah pada waktu senja. Cahaya matahari bergerak lebih jauh dari pemerhati iaitu berada di ufuk bumi yang membawa jarak gelombang cahaya panjang berwarna merah dan menyebabkan cahaya lain yang paling banyak diserap seperti biru akan hilang daripada lintasan cahaya dan membenarkan cahaya merah dan jingga melalui atmosfera tanpa gangguan. .7 Penambahan dan penerakan cahaya. Cahaya berwarna ada dua jenis, warna prima dan warna sekunder. Warna prima merupakan warna asas yang tidak boleh dihasilkan melalui percampuran warna, manakala warna sekunder merupakan campuran daripada dua atau lebih warna prima. Contoh warna prima merah, biru dan juga hijau. Contoh warna sekunder, magenta, kuning dan juga sains. Kat sini kita boleh tengok pencampuran dua jenis warna prima yang menghasilkan warna sekunder. Yang pertama, warna merah campur dengan warna biru akan menghasilkan warna magenta. Yang kedua, warna merah dan warna hijau akan menghasilkan warna kuning. Yang ketiga, warna biru dan warna hijau akan menghasilkan warna sains. Manakala percampuran ketiga-tiga warna prima iaitu merah, biru dan juga hijau akan menghasilkan warna putih. Penolakan cahaya. Fenomena ini berlaku apabila warna cahaya yang sama dengan objek legap akan dipantulkan, manakala warna lain akan diserap. Seperti dalam gambar, kita nampak yang strawberry badan dia warna merah dan daun dia warna hijau. Prinsip penolakan cahaya ada 4. Yang pertama, untuk objek yang berwarna prima seperti merah, hijau dan juga biru, yang hanya akan memantulkan cahaya yang sama warna dengannya. Yang kedua, objek yang berwarna sekunder seperti warna kuning, sains dan juga magenta akan memantulkan cahaya yang sama warna dengannya dan juga warna prima yang membentuknya. Yang ketiga, objek putih yang memantulkan semua warna. Yang keempat, objek hitam yang menyerap semua cahaya berwarna. Video tak boleh buka Okey, tak apa. Contoh penambahan cahaya dan penolakan cahaya dalam kehidupan. lampu berwarna bica Sesi dan juga televisyen berwarna.
That is all from us. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 8. Very good presentation. So any questions? Okay, you can put in the chat if you have any question for the group. Okay, please put on the chat or you can send it in the YouTube. Okay, who's in YouTube can hear? Okay, so if there is no question, we shall continue. Now,
Teacher, can group 7 go? We resolved all the problem already.
Sorry, come again?
Teacher, can group 7 go now?
All right,
The
no.
problem is resolved.
Okay, so now I would like to call upon group 7. So please introduce yourself, introduce your members, so that we can know you all. Okay, you can take over.
So good afternoon to Ms. Teresa and fellow students. Thank you all very much for joining the Google Meet today. My name is Shazwai and I'm responsible for starting today's presentation. Today we'll be learning more about air, what it's made out of, its importance, and how it affects us that are living on Earth. We, from Group 7, are going to cover 3 points, and that is the composition of air, combustion, and also air pollution. So before we start, there will be a short Q&A session at the end, so you guys can ask all you want at that period of time. Okay, Najia will be the one to start the first section of our presentation. So Najia, if you may.
7.1 Composition of air. What is air? We neither can see nor touch it, so what is it exactly? Air is colorless, tasteless, and odorless. So Earth is covered by a layer of air called atmosphere. The air contains gases, water vapor, dust particles, and microorganisms. As we can see in the pie chart, inert gases and other substances is 0.97%, carbon dioxide is 0.03%, oxygen is 21%, and nitrogen is 78%. The percentage of water vapor, dust, and microorganisms in air vary by location and time. For example, the air is saturated with water vapor after heavy rain or backfilled a hot day. The dust in the air comes from the soil or the sea in smoke. Organisms that landed in the air include fungi, spores, viruses, and viruses. Air is a mixture because the components of air plants and animals die, they will decompose. It causes by fungi and bacteria and releases carbon dioxide. Burning of fossil fuels that contain carbon also releases carbon dioxide. During respiration, microorganisms release carbon dioxide. These processes such as decomposition, combustion, and respiration are balanced by photosynthesis. So it means that photosynthesis will consume carbon dioxide to make food for plants, and the end product for photosynthesis is oxygen to help most activities such as respiration, combustion, and decomposition. Oxygen cycle. How does Najla, can you turn to the next slide? One more. Okay, thank you. Oxygen cycle is just the same from carbon cycle, but the gas involved is different. Oxygen cycle is a continuous cycle that takes oxygen from the air and returning to the air. Oxygen needed in resting, respiration, combustion, and decomposition is obtained from photosynthesis. In summary, the oxygen cycle and carbon cycle are continuously taking and returning oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Both oxygen and carbon cycles maintain the content of gases in the atmosphere. A balanced amount of gases is important for the survival of living things. Najla. Ways to prevent interferences on oxygen and carbon cycles. Don't. Using excessive pesticides. Pesticides will weaken the plant root system and immune system, reducing the concentration of essential plant nutrients in the soil, such as nitrogen and phosphorus. Next, prohibit illegal logging. It destroys trees that act as carbon sinks. Moreover, burn forests. Fire will destroy what has in the soil and timber. In fact, it will pollute the air with emissions which harmful to human health. It will also release carbon dioxide as carbon sinks. Then, prevent excessive release of smoke. Smoke will trap heat, thus the atmosphere will be hotter. Do. By planting deforestation. By planting the right species of plants, deforestation helps to make our forests more resilient to future challenges like climate change and wildfire. That's all from me. I hope by this sharing, you can practice some new habits to protect our environment.
Okay, Naja skipped over a gases and mixture video. So Najla, you may go to the video. This video will prove why air is a mixture. It will show you different activities on that will prove. Photo of a torch. There are three conditions needed for combustion, and that is oxygen, heat, and fuel. These three are also called the fire triangle. We can prevent combustion if we remove one of the conditions needed for combustion, hence breaking the chain reaction. So if any of you are confused on what is a chain reaction is a series of events so related to each other that each one initiates the next. So let's say if we take out one of the conditions needed for combustion, it will cancel out the creation of combustion completely, so it won't work. Okay, moving on to different types of fire extinguisher. Before I continue, I'll explain simply on what is a fire extinguisher. It is a protective tool that is used to put out a fire or handle a small fire, usually during an emergency. The substance used in a fire extinguisher differs based on the type of materials on fire as shown in the table below. But before we get to that, I have a question for all of you that are listening. Why do you think we need different types of fire extinguishers to be used on different materials? Is there anyone willing to answer? Anyone?
Okay, anyone want to answer the question why you have different type of fire extinguisher? Put it in the chat. I can see many of you all here. Najiha is here. Diana. Okay, put in the chat why you need different type of fire extinguisher. Okay. Okay, there's an answer there. Can you view the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yang said, I believe that there's different type of fire extinguishers for different types of fire because each fire isn't the same. True. Okay, so we need to have different types of fire extinguishers because some burning materials can't be put out by certain fire extinguishers. For example, if you try to put out a fire fueled by oil using water type fire extinguisher, it won't work because we need to separate the fuel from the fire to stop it. But it won't work because oil is denser than water. So the water will just go underneath the oil, which will not put out the fire. Hence, will not be able to separate the fuel from the fire. There are some types of fire extinguishers that might make the situation worse. Let's say, for example, one of your electrical appliances is burning caused by short circuit. Water type extinguishers might be one of the worst decisions you can make on putting out these types of fire because water is a natural conductor of electricity. And if you throw water on an electrical fire, it can get shocked or even electrocuted. Also, water may enable the fire to spread by conducting electricity throughout the room and potentially igniting flammable materials. So these are some of the reasons for the existence of different types of fire extinguishers. Now we will look at the materials on fire and what types of fire extinguishers are used to put it out. Firstly, for solid materials like wood, cloth, and paper, water and dry powder type of fire extinguishers are used because water can be used to make the fuel, or what we call the materials on fire, have too much of an excess moisture content that it cancels the burning. You can see that the fire can't be maintained by material with excess moisture content because the fire will easily die down. For dry powder extinguishers, these are filled with monoammonium phosphate, an extinguishing agent that spreads easily and melts over flame. Dry chemical extinguishers put out fire by coating the fuel with a thin layer of dust, which works by blocking heat and oxygen, causing the fire to die down. The powder also works to interrupt the chemical reaction of fire, so these extinguishers are extremely effective at putting out fire. And that's why dry powder is one of the most versatile out of all the different types of fire extinguishers, as you can see in the picture shown beside in the table. ABC powder is dry powder and it can be used for putting out most of the materials on fire. Secondly, we can use foam, dry powder, and carbon dioxide type of fire extinguishers to put out liquid material on fire, such as oil, varnish, and paint. Foam type extinguishers will act as a blanket that separates the flame or ignition source from the fuel surface. The foam works by cooling the fuel and any adjacent metal surfaces. And carbon dioxide works by displacing oxygen or taking away the oxygen element of the fire triangle. The carbon dioxide is also very cold as it comes out of the extinguisher, so it cools the fuel as well. Okay, thirdly, for gas material on fire, such as propane, acetylene, and methane, we use foam, dry powder, and carbon dioxide. And lastly, we use dry powder and dry sand type of fire extinguishers to put out flammable metal such as potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium. Dry sand works by dumping it on the fire to starve it of the oxygen it needs to stay alive, but it is a less efficient way to put out a fire. It would be better to just use a dry powder fire extinguisher. This works by smothering the fire and therefore the oxygen within it, also absorbing the heat contained within the fire, eventually leading to its extinction. Okay, let's move on to the next part, and that is fire extinguishing techniques. First, covering. Cutting off the fuel with oxygen. For example, covering the surface of fuel with wet sack, mud, or oil. Sand and foam is also used for covering. Second, cooling. Cooling the surface of burning material by spraying water or layer of carbon dioxide. This technique is basically cooling the materials which will take out the heat condition necessary to create a fire. For the third technique, reducing the amount of burning materials or cutting off the source of fuel. This technique can be used by separating the burning materials by keeping away materials that have not burnt yet and cutting off the supply of gas or oil. This technique is just cutting off the fuel so the fire can maintain itself for long. Okay, for the last part of this section, we will be learning 6 safety measures to prevent the occurrence of fire. Naja? Okay, Najla? Yay. Number 1, keep matches and lighters in a safe place. These items should always be put out of reach from children because as you already know they are very mischievous. Number 2, keep away flammable substances from fire. Number 3, always be aware of your electrical appliances. You should from time to time check on the condition of or state of your electrical appliances in case any of them may exhibit any chance of fire hazard happening. Number 4, do not plug in too many electrical appliances to a single electrical source because it can lead to a power overload it can result in a short circuit and fire. Number 5, install fire alarm and smoke detector at home. You can be notified if a fire hazard is breaking out inside your house, so you can get to safety and call 999 for help. And number 6, do not throw away cigarette butts when you're still burning. This is an additional reason why it is so vital for smokers to have proper butt disposal habits, because there have been a case in British where a garden was set on fire because of the wrong disposal of cigarette butts. Okay, and that concludes the second section of our presentation. The next one will be presented by Najla, air pollution.
Okay. Okay, 7.3, air pollution. Situation which involves the presence of any pollution in the air. This brings harm and discomfort to living things and destroys the environment. Okay, kalau dalam bahasa Melayu dia air pollution, pencemaran udara lah. Maksud pencemaran udara ni satu keadaan yang melibatkan kehadiran sebarang bahan pencemar dalam udara. Keadaan ini boleh menyebabkan kemudaratan dan ketidakselesaan kepada manusia atau organisma lain, serta merosakkan alam sekitar apabila dibebaskan ke atmosfer. Okay, sources of air pollution. Number 1, exhaust of vehicles and factories. Exhaust kenderaan dan kilang. Bahan pencemar dia asap, jelaga, habuk, karbon monoksida, sulfur dioksida, nitrogen dioksida dan plumbum. Nombor 2, open burning. pembakaran terbuka, forest fires, kebakaran hutan, and cigarettes, rokok. Bahan pencemar dia habuk jelaga, asap, and zarang logam. Number 3, nuclear power plants. Loji kuasa nuklear, bahan pencemar dia bahan radioaktif. Nombor 4, agriculture, plantation activities. This one, industri pertanian. Aktiviti pertanian dan perladangan. Bahan pencemar dia macam contohnya bahan semburan pesticide dengan baju kimia. Nombor 5, construction sites, iaitu tapak pembinaan, asbestos factories, kilang asbestos, kuari batu kapur, limestone quarry. Limestone ni batu kapur. Punca dia, bahan pencemar dia habuk dan debu. Nombor 6, air conditioners, aircon lah. Alat pendingin udara, aircon, peti sejuk, refrigerators, aerosol sprays, semburan aerosol ni macam riksek yang semua lipas tu, dan electronic factories, kilang elektronik. Okay. So, with this. Okay, causes and effects of air pollution. Punca dan kesan buruk pencemaran udara. Nombor 1, health, kesihatan manusia, kita dalam BM dia. First, antara akibatnya, breathing problems, masalah kesesakan nafas yang puncanya asap dan jelaga. Mungkin respiratory problems, penyakit yang berkaitan dengan salur pernafasan yang berpunca daripada sulfur dioksida. Dan yang ketiga, headache, sakit kepala. Mental retardation ni kerencatan akal, and that maut lah. Dan dia berpunca daripada karbon monoksida. Lung cancer ni pula, kanser paru-paru ni berpunca daripada zarah asbestos. Asbestos ni biasanya orang guna dekat rumah, dekat atas atap tu. Biasanya rumah luar negara yang lama tu adalah. Then intellectual disability among children and babies. Ni kerencatan akal pada kanak-kanak yang bayi yang berpunca daripada plumbum. Nombor 2, puncanya daripada buildings and infrastructures. Dan sebenarnya dia bangunan dan infrastruktur. Nombor 1, dust and soot stained buildings, habuk dan jelaga ni dia kotorkan bangunan. Dan yang ni pula hujan asid mengakis struktur konkrit dan batu kapur. Then acid rain speed ups iron rusting. Hujan asid mempercepatkan pengaratan besi. Nombor 3, plants and animals. Kesan dia kepada tumbuh-tumbuhan dan haiwan menyebabkan hujan asid menyebabkan tanah berasid dan kurang subur. Dan hujan asid juga menyebabkan sumber air berasid dan tidak sesuai untuk hidupan akuatik. Then asap dan jeru mengurangkan cahaya matahari sampai ke bumi dan menyebabkan kadar fotosintesis menjadi lemah. Dan nombor 4 ni iklim bumi. Greenhouse effect ni karbon dioksida yang berlebihan menyebabkan kesan rumah hijau. Smoke from factories, vehicles and open burning lead to haze. Maknanya pembebasan asap dari kilang, exhaust kenderaan dan pembakaran terbuka menyebabkan jerebu. Dan thinning of the ozone layer, penipisan lapisan ozon yang berpunca daripada chlorofluorokarbon. And acid rain, hujan asid dan berpunca daripada gas sulfur dioksida dan nitrogen dioksida. And last one, ways to prevent and control air pollution, langkah-langkah mencegah dan mengawal pencemaran udara. Nombor 1, law enforcement ataupun dalam sebenarnya kekuasaan undang-undang. Yang kedua, education melalui pendidikan. And nombor 3, science and technology. Okay, nombor 1 ni, kekuasaan undang-undang ni, kita fine smokers who smoke at restricted areas. Kita denda perokok yang rokok dekat kawasan larangan, contohnya macam hospital, klinik, sekarang ni kedai makan. Nombor 2 pula, fine individuals who conduct open burning. Kita denda juga saman orang yang melakukan pembakaran terbuka. Nombor 3, fine drivers whose vehicles emit excessive smokes. Maknanya kita saman pemandu kenderaan yang exhaust dia mengeluarkan asap berlebihan. Dan nombor 4, prohibit factories from being built at housing area. Kita tak benarkan kilang dibangunkan ataupun dibina dekat kawasan perumahan, sebab dekat kawasan perumahan kan banyak orang duduk, so tak eloklah untuk kesihatan. Nombor 2, education. So dekat sekolah kita educate students about the effects of air pollution and ways to prevent it. Dekat pendidikan di sekolah menekankan pencemaran udara dan langkah-langkah pengawalannya. Nombor 2, organize anti-smoking campaigns, program anti merokok. Ketiga, encourage the public to walk or ride bicycle. Dia galakkan orang untuk berjalan kaki atau menggunakan basikal. Kalau dekat-dekat tu tak payahlah nak start kereta because membazir and boleh mencemarkan alam. And encourage the usage of public transport or carpooling. Kita galakkan menggunakan pengangkutan awam lah supaya lebih jimat and boleh selamatkan alam. And berkongsi kereta. Sekarang ni tak boleh lah sebab COVID kan. Nombor 3 ni melalui science and technology. Implement hybrid technology in vehicles. Teknologi kenderaan hybrid. Then choose refrigerators which use hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HCFC ni, instead of chlorofluorocarbons. Contohnya teknologi peti sejuk, kita gunakan hydrochlorofluorocarbon untuk gantikan chlorofluorocarbon. Then nombor 4 ni, use catalytic converters on vehicles. Contohnya kita penggunaan penukar bermangkin pada kenderaan bermotor. This one, install filters in smoke activities at factory ni, kalau dalam senarai dia pasang penapis cerobong lah dekat asap, cerobong asap kilang tu. Maksudnya. Then lastly, replace the use of pesticide with biological control to control pests. Yang ni biasanya orang guna bila orang berkebun, bertanam tu, kita gunakan kaedah kawalan biologi untuk kawal haiwan perosak. Kalau tak, biasanya orang guna pesticide. Pesticide ni tak baguslah untuk alam. Okay, itu je. Kalau ada soalan, boleh tanya. Ada tak?
Okay, ada soalan tak untuk the group 7? Ada soalan? Okay, kalau tak ada soalan, or if you got soalan, you can put in the chat so that the group can answer. Okay, thank you. Very good presentation. So your group topic, okay, is an interesting topic, okay, and how you want to contain pollution. Okay, thank you so much for the very good slide and very good presentation. Okay, okay, I'll put up the link to the slide if you all want to see. Okay, all the link for all the presentation and all the slide, you can get it from the YouTube. So that is for you all to do your revision. Okay, so today our last presenter or presentation will be from group 9. Okay, Celesta, okay, are you ready, Celesta?
Yes, teacher, I'm ready.
Okay, you can take over.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Celesta from 3DLB. Today my group mates Sadiq, Farisha, and I from Group 9 will be presenting on Unit 9, which is about the Earth. This unit has 6 subtopics. First is 9.1, the system and structure of the Earth. Earth is the system that consists of 4 main elements. These elements are the atmosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, and biosphere. Atmosphere is the air zone which covers the entire Earth's surface. It is essential to all life on Earth because it contains oxygen, which is the basic need for life, and carbon dioxide, which is essential for photosynthesis by green plants. Next is hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is the water zone that includes rivers, lakes, seas, and also water trapped as ice, underground water, and water vapor in the atmosphere. Geosphere is the rock and soil zone on the Earth's surface. This refers to the solid part of the Earth, which includes volcanoes, rocks, minerals, coal, oil, and other mineral resources. Lastly, biosphere. Biosphere is the life zone that consists of a variety of life such as humans, animals, plants, and microorganisms. Now I am going to play a video about the atmospheric stratification. Now we will learn about the ocean stratification. The ocean has been divided into three main zones. We will start with the surface zone, which is from 0 to 200 meters from sea level. Light can penetrate through it, and it is a suitable habitat for plants. Next is the midnight zone, which extends from 200 to 1,000 meters from sea level. This zone has little or no light, thus it is difficult for plants to live here. It is the habitat for large marine animals such as whales. And the deepest zone is known as the dark zone. It is very dark and no light can reach it. Animals that live in this zone have shimmering bodies or glow in the dark. The dark zone is 1,000 meters and below from sea level. Distribution of water on Earth. The water cycle process is continuous. Therefore, it is said that the total amount of water contained in Earth, on Earth's surface, and in the Earth's atmosphere is always constant. This is an image of the water cycle process. Earth's layers. The Earth is divided into three main layers: the crust, mantle, and
jenis proses eksogen yang pertama hakisan, proses penghausan yang dialami permukaan bumi yang disebabkan ejen bergerak iaitu air, angin dan ombak. Yang kedua, proses luluh hawa merupakan proses pemecahan dan penguraian atau perebutan batuan yang menjadikan batuan yang lebih kecil disebabkan perubahan suhu, air, hujan, tindakan frost dan mikroorganisma. Seterusnya ialah susutan jisim dan susutan darat yang melibatkan pergerakan tanah dari atas cerun ke bahagian bawah yang disebabkan oleh daya graviti. Yang terakhir ialah anggutan dan pengapan, bahan yang telah diluluhawakan atau terhakis dibawa oleh ejen seperti aliran air, angin, ombak dan glasier. Ianya akan digenapkan apabila hal laju ejen menjadi perlahan. Proses endogen. Yang pertama, aktiviti magma. Gunung berapi ialah satu lohong dari dalam kerak bumi yang membolehkan magma yang cair dan panas melaluinya dalam bentuk letusan yang kuat. Bahan letusan gunung berapi tersebut akan tertimbun di sekeliling cerun, lebung dan membentuk kon gunung berapi. Yang kedua, proses olakan mantel. Suhu yang tinggi dalam bahagian mantel dan teras bumi menghasilkan perolakan di lapisan atmosfera. Perolakan ini berupaya menggerakkan kerak bumi. Yang ketiga ialah proses pergerakan kerak bumi. Kerak bumi dibahagikan kepada beberapa keping plat. Plat ini sentiasa bergerak yang menyebabkan proses pertembungan dan pencapahan yang menghasilkan pelbagai bentuk bumi serta hanyutan benua. Air bawah tanah yang meliputi ruang kosong antara butiran tanah sehingga arus bantuan tidak telap air. Larutan serap air baja dan racun serangga dalam bidang pertanian serta sisa bahan kimia, industri dan domestik di tapak pelupusan sampah membawa risiko pencemaran air bawah tanah. Seterusnya, mineral ekonomi yang terbagi kepada tiga iaitu mineral logam, contohnya biji besi, biji timah dan emas. Yang kedua, mineral bukan logam, arang dan petroleum, dan mineral nadir yang mengandungi satu atau lebih daripada 17 nadir yang dijumpai dalam kerak bumi. Seterusnya ialah proses hidroterma, iaitu air yang dipanaskan oleh haba daripada bumi secara semula jadi. Gambar ni contoh proses hidroterma. Dan ini pula berkenaan dengan mineral ekonomi. Yang terakhir